Dave Rubin is the host of the Rubin Report. He's now in his written testimony. Michael Schellenberger said that recent reporting and lawsuits have revealed, Dave, quote, a large and growing network of government agencies, academic institutions, and non-governmental organizations that are actively censoring American citizens, often without their knowledge, on a range of issues, including on the origins of COVID vaccines, emails related to Hunter Biden's business dealings, climate change, renewable energy, fossil fuels, and many, many other issues. He and Matt Taibbi refer to it as the censorship industrial complex, and it's frightening.
John, what people really need to understand about this, beyond what Taibbi and Schellenberger are laying out, and I happen to know Schellenberger personally, this is a good guy. These guys are liberals. They are lefties. I would go out on a limb, I can't swear to this, but I'm pretty sure that neither one of them have ever voted for a Republican and certainly don't consider themselves right-leaning or conservative or anything like that. So, you know, a lot of their motives have been impugned by several members of Congress today, and it's really shameful and embarrassing. As for the content that they're talking about, I wish this was surprising, but those of us who have been paying attention to this for a couple of years now, we all sort of knew that something was going on here, and now we're finding out basically that our worst fears have become true. And I think, you know, John, I was up at Twitter a couple of weeks ago with Elon. We met for a few hours, and I met a few of the engineers there. And after I met with Elon at the end of the meeting, there was no intention there that I was going to release any information or anything. I said to him, quite honestly, I said, hey, do you mind if I tell people what I saw here today? And his exact words, without hesitating, were as long as it's true. So the idea that this guy has a political bent or is somehow manipulating information or manipulating the reporters, the legitimate journalists who are showing up there is just crazy. And I think we're still just at the beginning of pulling the string on this thing, and we're probably going to find out way more. The question always is, though, you know, is anything going to happen because of it? That I don't know.
Yeah, well, that meeting may put you in the crosshairs of the Federal Trade Commission, which wants information from Twitter on which journalists it discussed the Twitter files with and what the nature of the information exchange was, which might seem to run up against the First Amendment there. I'm not sure, but I think it gets close.
Well, look, if you have the government pressuring a private organization to censor free speech, that is as close as you can get to a violation of the First Amendment, short of the government doing it itself. Now, the question really is, and I've spoken to a couple First Amendment lawyers on this, you know, you as a private citizen, you don't have much recourse against the government. It's not as if they're going to suddenly pay you out. Oh, we're sorry, we stepped on your First Amendment rights. Here's $1 million. I mean, you might get a letter saying we're sorry about it, something like that. But in essence, what we really need now, more than apologies or penalties or anything else, is just for some honesty from the government and just say, we are not going to do this anymore. Because as Taibbi pointed out, most of what was accused of being misinformation often turned out to be true, whether it was reporting on Hunter Biden's laptop or whether it was COVID-related, vaccine-related, mandate-related, Russia collusion, et cetera. So, and also, not all of it was done by journalists. I don't consider myself a journalist. I tell people what I think for a living. People can agree or disagree, but the average citizen who is out there on Twitter sharing information, that's what we all thought the promise of social media was, and unfortunately, it became something much more nefarious.
I just want to finish this off. Don't need an answer, but I wanted to put this up. This is from Schellenberger's written testimony, call for number 3 here. In terms of who gets suspended, you don't have to represent a threat anymore. He says, quote, the government no longer needs a predicate of calling you a terrorist or an extremist to deploy government resources to counter your political activity. The only predicate it needs is simply the assertion that the opinion you expressed on social media is wrong. Dave, always good to catch up with you. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
John, that's why I don't stand by any of my opinions. Anything I've said here has nothing to do with Dave Rubin. Don't worry about that.
You fold like a cheap suit. I love it. Thanks, Dave.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics instead of mindless drivel, check out our politics playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist, all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.